If you can't be the best, cheat. Abraham Lincoln. History remembers the winners, especially in sports, and in the sport of baseball, the most iconic winner of the 2010s was the San Francisco Giants. They won 3 different World Series in the span of 5 years. There's a litany of names you think of when you think of those Giants teams: Tim Lincecum, Buster Posey, and so on. But there is a core member of that middle team in 2012 that doesn't live on with fondness, but rather infamy. Today we're going to tell the story of the Milkman, baby. One of the most unique names in baseball, with an outlandish peak and a shockingly underrated career. This video's got would-be trades, fake drug websites, and some really interesting stat comparisons, so buckle up. To accurately tell the story of the Milkman himself, we'll have to go back 20 years first. Melky made a name for himself with a respectable rookie campaign in 2006 for the New York Yankees. He actually became the second youngest Yankees player ever to hit a walk-off home run, only outdone by the legendary Mickey Mantle. We're less than a minute into the video, and I've already compared Melky Cabrera to Mickey Mantle. I don't think you can cure the kind of disease that I have, but Cabrera would struggle to find a role in the ensuing 2 seasons, and the Yankees would shop their 24-year-old outfielder on the trade market as they made significant roster improvements via free agency ahead of the 2009 season. Looking to add even more veteran presence to one of the oldest rosters in baseball, the club came close to closing a deal with the Milwaukee Brewers for Mike Cameron, but the swap never fully materialized. Many Yankees fans might tell you that they're thankful that this trade never came to fruition. Mike Cameron was still a great player in his own right at age 36, but Melky became an incredibly important piece of the 2009 championship roster in the Bronx. It didn't appear as though this team was destined for championship greatness early on. When the team slid to a 15-17 record in mid-May, it was the emergence of Melky Cabrera that righted the offensive ship, as he would win back everyday playing time against the young Brett Gardner. Melky hit .321 in the month of May that year, the 5th best batting average of any American League outfielder, alongside some stacked company. The Yankees won 9 games in a row after the low point of their season, and never registered a losing record in any month of the year. Melky was a stud on their playoff roster as well, hitting .321 in 9 games through their victories in the ALDS and ALCS. At 24 years old, Melky Cabrera was already a World Series champion, but shockingly, it would also be his last year as a Yankee. In December of the 2009 offseason, the Yankees cleared a spot for Brett Gardner by shipping Cabrera off to the Atlanta Braves in a 5-player trade that brought Javier Vazquez back to the Bronx. You know, because it worked out so well the first time. It was a swap that didn't bring much success to either team, as the abrupt change in scenery brought upon the worst season of Melky's career to that point. He was one of only 9 players in the 2010 season to play over 140 games and still be worth negative wins above replacement, as his defense in center field waned and his OPS dipped nearly 100 ticks. The Braves would release him in the offseason, making Cabrera one of the youngest free agents on the market with MLB experience. The Kansas City Royals, coming off a season with 95 losses and one of the weaker outfield units in baseball, saw no harm in throwing a flyer Cabrera's way, signing the Milkman for just $1.2 million. That would become one of the best bargain signings of the offseason. For reference, the year before, the Royals outfield unit ranked dead last in MLB with an 82 weighted runs created plus and 29th overall with a wins above replacement value of just 1.8. But after transitioning Alex Gordon to left field and then adding Jeff Francoeur and Melky Cabrera via free agency, the unit put together a top 4 mark in both metrics, one of the biggest year-to-year leaps you can find for a position unit in the 2000s. Melky was obviously a massive piece of this puzzle, posting career highs in doubles, home runs, stolen bases, and batting average while patrolling center field on a daily basis for Kansas City. And I'll say this, if you don't know much about Melky Cabrera, some of the stats I'm about to read to you are going to be very shocking. His 201 hits makes him one of only 8 primary center fielders with that many hits in a season since 2000. That's good and all, but let's butter knife this thing even further. Melky Cabrera and Jacoby Ellsbury are the last 2 primary center fielders to hit 300 in a full season, with over 40 doubles and over 20 stolen bases, and only 5 center fielders have done so in the expansion era total. You're hearing this right. Melky Cabrera did something in a season that hasn't been done in 15 years and has only been done 5 times by a center fielder in the past 60 plus years. This season was shocking to say the least. After a career low point getting released in the middle of his arbitration, Melky Cabrera had suddenly become a very coveted piece in the offseason that followed. Even despite the leap taken by their outfield unit, the Royals were still not near contention, and they attempted to capitalize on Cabrera's newfound value. Melky was sent to the San Francisco Giants Giants for a pitcher, Jonathan Sanchez, and a prospect. And early on for his new team, Melky showed that his 2011 season was seemingly no fluke. After a nice first month of the year where he hit for his usual 300 batting average, the Milkman exploded for the best month of his career in May of 2012. When a 4-game skid to open May landed the Giants 2 games under 500, Melky's bat helped keep the team afloat, much like he did for the 2009 Yankees. Of his 28 games started in May of 2012, Melky registered multiple hits in 15 of those games, which is over half overall. His 51 hits in the month of May was the most of any player in the last 5 years to that point, last being done by Carl Crawford, who smacked 50 hits in August of 2007. And only 5 players since Melky Cabrera's performance in May that year have put together a 50-hit month. Melky became one of only 12 players in the last 13 years of MLB play to hit for this high of an average in a single month. Despite the struggles of the offense around him, Melky's efforts helped the Giants survive a rough month with a 15-14 record, playing a massive role in them making the postseason at year's end. By now, the league was taking full notice of the blossoming of Melky Cabrera as one of the best outfielders in the game. Melky's red-hot bat earned him over 7.5 million votes for the All-Star game, the most of any National League outfielder. Listen, I'll be the first to say I think All-Star voting is kind of dumb, but we really need to put this into perspective. Melky Cabrera got more votes than Ryan Braun right after he won MVP, Bryce Harper when he was the most popular rookie to ever play the sport, and veteran outfielder Carlos Beltran, who is putting together another nice season. All of those guys got less votes than the Milkman. What a time to be alive. It's just simply hard to imagine, but Melky Cabrera made those votes worth it, as he would club a 2-run home run in the 4th inning and claim All-Star Game MVP honors after a dominant 8-0 victory for the National League, which was their 3rd victory in a row that would also grant the National League team home field advantage in the World Series because our league commissioner's office used to be on crack. Jokes aside, guess what team got to take advantage of that home field advantage? There's a very interesting ripple effect there. Through mid-August, Melky Cabrera was enjoying a season even better than his 2011 campaign for the Royals. An August 14th win pushed the Giants into a tie for first place in the National League West Division, a position they had been fighting for control of for the better part of 6 weeks to that point. It's hard to imagine they'd be anywhere close without the efforts of Melky Cabrera, who, through 501 plate appearances, was hitting for a .346 batting average, which led all of MLB. He also had an OPS north of 900 for the first time in his career. His .346 batting average made him one of just 2 outfielders since 2012 with a mark that high in a single season, alongside 2018 MVP winner Mookie Betts. Sure, the Giants were getting great seasons from other players and had added reinforcements at the trade deadline, but Melky Cabrera to that point was the story of the season. The thing is, Melky Cabrera's season was never supposed to end on August 14th. The morning after their 6-1 victory against the Washington Nationals, news broke that would change the Giants' season outlook entirely. In the midst of his career year, Melky Cabrera was hit with a 50-game suspension for performance-enhancing substances. The Giants had lost their everyday 3-hitter and engine of their offense in the middle of a pennant chase, something that certainly could have been a death blow for their playoff hopes. Luckily for them and Giants fans everywhere, the team rallied around their dominant starting pitching, an MVP campaign from Buster Posey, and an amazing stretch by deadline acquisition Marco Scutaro. The club went 30-15 in their last 45 games, winning the NL West division by a comfortable 8-game lead. They would go on to crush the postseason competition, sweeping the Tigers in the World Series that of course started on their turf. Despite Melky Cabrera regaining eligibility in the middle of the National League Championship Series, the club declined to re-add him to their active roster. And for a while down the stretch, Melky's presence did not leave Giants fans' minds. Shout out to these Giants fans that came up with the spoiled milk idea. I love it. While his team went on a magical stretch run without him, the aftermath of the suspension was a difficult time for Melky Cabrera. With integrity, Cabrera fully admitted to his mistakes, saying that, quote, his positive test was the result of his use of a substance that he should not have used, subsequently apologizing for his actions. Although perhaps I used the word integrity a little bit too soon, before Melky admitted to his mistakes, he did try to create a fake drug website so that he could say that he legally obtained the substances and could be possibly exonerated. He spent $10,000 on this ruse that was quickly debunked, and then he admitted to his mistakes. Also, if I had like a Squarespace sponsor, that would have been the perfect segue. If I was just like, you don't need to spend $10,000 on a website, you can spend $5 on a website with Squarespace. So, sponsor sponsor me. I don't know.
Oh, brother!
After seriously damaging his reputation around the league, what was still left in the air was the National League batting title, to which Melky Cabrera still held a claim at season's end with his .346 batting clip. In a respectable act, Melky Cabrera came out and said that he should not be given such an accolade, as he had, quote, no wish to win an award that would be tainted, and that it would be far better for someone more deserving to win. Melky Cabrera reportedly asked the MLBPA and the league to remove him from consideration, and the award was instead won by his teammate Buster Posey, who'd go on to claim NL MVP as well. And this was the only batting title of Posey's illustrious career. Some fans have theorized that MLB offered Cabrera a lighter penalty if he agreed to recuse his award eligibility, but this has never been verified. Before we wrap up our discussion on his suspension, we need to get to the best part of today's video, which is reading through the Reddit thread on Giants Reddit when they first found out that Melky Cabrera was getting suspended. I guess there was more than just calcium and vitamin D in the milk. Someone get Ryan Braun's attorney. Stat. We still won the Jonathan Sanchez trade. Hey, is that me? That sounds like me. Even after his PED suspension, the Toronto Blue Jays still signed Melky Cabrera to a 2-year, $16 million contract that offseason. More trouble followed in 2013, where Melky Cabrera was named among a litany of other top MLB players in the biogenesis scandal, though no further suspension would be handed out to the veteran outfielder. When Melky Cabrera returned to San Francisco for the first time a couple of years later as a member of the Blue Jays, the reception he got wasn't exactly warm.
Left fielder, number 53, Melky Cabrera.
I'm not saying that Melky didn't deserve a reception like this, but it is a shame because he really won the hearts of Giants fans everywhere in the early goings of that 2012 season. In his 2014 campaign, he returned to all-star form, hitting over 300 in a 139-game sample, one of the best seasons of his entire 15-year career. With the Blue Jays uncompetitive, this made him coveted at that year's trade deadline, and when I say coveted, I mean really coveted. And as far as we know, his efforts in this season were clean, no steroids detected. In fact, as far as we know, the entire rest of his career was clean, as Cabrera would go on to play 7 total seasons following his 2012 suspension, putting together some really nice years even after his reputation was damaged. After 15 years, over 20 wins above replacement, and just shy of 2,000 games and 2,000 hits, Cabrera cemented a legacy as one of the more underrated outfielders in the 21st century, with a suspension overshadowing his play on the field. Cabrera does rank in the top 10 for on-base percentage at a .334 clip for his career among primary outfielders in the expansion era, with at least 7,500 career plate appearances, which is a very impressive feat that most people probably don't know about. But that is the story of Melky Cabrera's career, a meteoric rise to stardom that crashed and burned way quicker than anybody expected. But thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section down below if you learned something. That'll do it for me though, and I'll see you guys next time.